Welcome back to OTR. The roundtable is assembled for our Sunday morning chat. Joining us are Democratic political analyst Marianne Marsh and Republican political analyst Ginny Buckingham. Guys, good morning. Great to have you with us. Let me just ask you off the top. You just heard from Annissa Essaibi-George. Does she have the message and the mettle to win this race? Marianne, let me start with you.
That's a great question. I mean, I'm not sure her message works, but it's bigger than that. She has an advantage. She's a citywide councilor. That's an advantage. And she's in Dorchester. That's an advantage. But can she put the organization together? Can she put the fundraising together? By her own admission, she's behind. And I'm not sure just talking about small business is enough in this race. But the more people who get in this race, the easier it is, the lower the bar for her.
Ginny, what you read?
I found her impressive. I thought her message was strong. I think having that centrist, business-friendly message is going to be important, especially for attracting that money from this business community in Boston for this race. So I think she's got a lot going for her.
So let's talk about what everyone's talking about. We can land on Mars, but we can't get people vaccinated. Those 65 and over now qualify for appointments. Now, this group is more computer savvy, yet the state's site crashed or had no available openings posted most of the first few days. How much is a supply problem and how much of it is a Baker problem? Ginny?
You know, sometimes don't you want to just unplug Charlie Baker and plug him back in, just like you do your computer, so it will work better, like it did before? Look, I watched your newscast last week where you had someone say, I love Charlie Baker, but... And I think that's where we are right now. People still are rooting for him, still believe in him, but he's got to get his act together.
Marianne?
How is it a supply problem when Massachusetts is only putting in 76.69% of the shots they get? That's not a supply problem. Are you telling me if you get more vaccines, you're going to hit 90% in arms, 100% in arms? And the fact is, New Mexico this week, first place, 98% of the shots they get in arms. West Virginia, down in third place this week, but still in front of us because we're only 35th this week. So, and they're at 87%. So this is not a supply issue. This is a logistics problem still. Again, call Everbridge in Burlington. They're doing a bang-up job in West Virginia. Or Olivia Adams, who we talked about last week, whose website didn't crash on Wednesday or Thursday morning that she made, that they consulted with. The only people who had problems with her website is when they got to the state website. So rip the Band-Aid. Get out of the state. They can't do the website. They've had problems before. Get this done. This is deadly serious business.
At least this week, though, Marianne, the governor admitted his hair's on fire. So...
Look, he is as angry as anyone. He is as frustrated as anyone. He will get this fixed, and I think we'll look back at this and we'll all be vaccinated, God willing, by the summer sometime, and I think it will be in the rearview mirror.
But Ginny, the answers are there. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. That's where we are.
You all heard the House Speaker Ron Mariano's unhappiness last Sunday with the governor's vaccine rollout. This week, he and the Senate President announced oversight hearings. Is this anything more than being called on the carpet? Marianne, let me start with you.
This is a life and death issue, so it should be deadly serious. We need to understand why the mistakes, what the mistakes are, why they were made, and how they can be fixed. Not only for this very, very most important thing we're going to deal with in our lifetime, I hope here, but for other issues as well in terms of government. So there have been other issues along the way that have not had the toll that this one has, as it should, but we need to understand what happened and we need to fix it now.
Ginny, I understand knowledge is key, but right now shots have to go into arms, and why waste any time doing anything but putting shots in arms?
You know, I think this is a real opportunity for Charlie Baker to go before the legislature, which, by the way, it is their job to oversee things like this, and explain exactly what their planning was, exactly what their plan is going forward, how they're going to fix this. He can sell this. He can stand up and be the manager we've known him to be.
He should appear before the committee. That would do him a world of good.
Absolutely.
President Biden said emphatically this week that he will not support Senator Warren's call to cancel $50,000 debt to each student. He said maybe $10,000, but he hasn't gotten there yet. She still believes that there's room to change his mind. Is she right about this, Ginny?
So this is the first sign that President Biden is going to govern like the centrist that he promised he would govern as, and I hope he holds out. I mean, can we afford canceling $50,000 of debt for every student? Can we afford to let colleges raise tuition willy-nilly because they have no skin in the game? I hope he holds out. It will say a lot about where he's going with this country.
Marianne?
She may not get 50,000, but she might get 25. I mean, I think this is the poker game we're going to have here. While everybody talked about 50,000, and that's always been the benchmark, he's at 10, she's at 50, they might meet somewhere in between. And whatever that number is, it's relief for kids and people who have college loan debts.
But as Ginny pointed out, can we really afford to cancel up to $50,000 worth of college debt?
Can we afford not to at this point? I mean, look at the predicament we're in. Already, kids who have gotten out of college, who are saddled with 6 figures plus of debt, they don't get married, they don't buy homes, they change jobs based on paying the loans off, not because of the work they want to do. We're in the midst of a recession. Now's the time to pump money into the economy, and having people's debts reduced will help do that. But the real question, the real issue here is, to Ginny's point, is tuition. Tuition's through the roof because people are building campuses that none of us could have afforded, even in our lives now. They're glorious. But when those kids get out of college, they're not going to have those dorm rooms overlooking the Charles River like they do at BU and everything. So that's the bigger problem. But for now, let's put some cash in people's pockets and fix the problem.
And let's pass that $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill.
Yes.
It's a balancing act. We can't pay for everything.
No, but we could pay for $2 trillion worth of tax cuts in the last 4 years that busted the deficit for the top 1% of the country. We could do that.
So it's a little bit of a political game as well as a money game in balancing everything. Is that fair to say, everybody?
Yep.
Yep.